call from God real quick.
I think that I I think Duncan was like I'll say
Yeah, Duncan, I would say like that, but like Duncan's a big man. Like you don't really bigs never really get the shine that guards get. You know what I'm saying? That wing players get.
I think it depends. I think maybe now, but like it used to be a big man league. You ain't had
Yeah,
Magic, Shaq.
But look at Shaq. Like Shaq literally was like so big of a personality. KG, they were so big of a personality that you couldn't take the spotlight off them. Like I feel like Jordan wasn't making rap songs. He wasn't as like, charismatic as like or emotional as like a KG was. So like they definitely helped sell themselves, KG and Shaq. Like KG screaming on everybody, Shaq rapping, acting, funny, dancing. Like he had many things to him aside from like basketball. Like what is Kawhi? What do you say? Like if you in the game, like obviously you're in the game to maximize the most that you can. Like you want to get paid, you want to get like everything for you. But as far as like selling himself and like putting himself out there, I can't say I've ever seen that from Kawhi.
But
I think lately he's been doing that.
But that's his thing. Like if he was gonna come out and try to be like a LeBron or a Kobe or this guy, that guy, it wouldn't work because he'd always be like looked at just like another another guy trying to be like Bron. Whereas now he's like the opposite Bron. Like Bron does everything to court all the attention. He wants all the endorsements. He wants to make all the decisions. He wants to be an agent. He wants to be in music. He wants to shoot movies. Whereas why is it, all right, cool, I'm going to take the opposite where I'm the quiet guy. I'm the chill guy. I don't make any noise. I don't show emotion on the floor. Even when he made that shot versus Philly, he was going crazy. That's almost like he caught him. So like, oh, yeah, I'm supposed to be stoic.
So you think that you guys just think like basketball is soap opera. So you think he just says, this is who I'm supposed to be and I got to always act like this? That's who he you can tell he's like a not an awkward guy, but like he's not gonna open up unless he really knows you. And sometimes you a little crazy, and then you're like, oh shit.
He said that at the Toronto press conference. Like, I'm not a guy to just express myself. Ask me something.
Yeah, I don't think he does it on purpose.
That's when the whole famous laugh came into play.
I think his team did a good job of finding that to like push him towards, all right, we can market you this way, but I don't think he like fakes it and does it on purpose.
I think
I think he has been taking advantage of that lately. His last couple of commercials, obviously with the New Balances, he has the other one, I forget, it's almost like a computer type thing to emphasize how big his hands are. I forget what product that was. He's been more open, been more vocal, doing interviews, more comfortable at the press conference. In San Antonio, that wasn't asked of him. They're not asking the fourth best player besides Patrick Beverly what your opinion are on the games. So, and I feel like he's in a lane almost like when Marshawn Lynch, like the quiet guy, not speaking, and then just
becomes your thing. Becomes your thing.
Yeah, but like I don't think but I think that I don't think that it's something that they turn themselves into like it's like an acting job. I just think eventually like you see the right people around you are like, yo, like, all right, this is who you're gonna be. But if you wanna like, you're in LA now, you're not in San Antonio, it's a bigger market. You actually have to do these things. So let's go find a way to combine your personality and fit it into this commercial and let's all make money. I don't think it's like, damn, like this stoic, like no emotion person's work for me. Now I'm just pretending. I think that's genuinely him. They just found a way to incorporate it into like a business now.
I don't believe that. I think that like NBA players, like I'm not gonna not give Kawhi the credit that he don't have like the control that some of these other guys have, like Bron knowing where the camera is, Westbrook, all the other guys that know where the cameras are, know when they're being watched, and they know that every second that they're coming in, that like, people are watching that every movement. I'm not gonna take that credit away from Kawhi, especially as smart a basketball player as he is, as smart man as he is.
But Jiggy, but don't you think? Let's go to the guys who are viewed negatively. Example, Kyrie Irving or the Jimmy Butlers, or I'm just trying to think of these different, guys that the narrative on them is perceived. All right, Russell Westbrook, for example. Mm-hmm. So you're telling me that he is consciously know that people thinks he plays crazy, he acts wild, he dresses weird, he does all this, and in the game, he's like, you know what, I gotta stay true to myself.
Yeah, like
that's just genuinely him.
Nah, I think
that's so hard to do.
I don't think it's as hard as you think. I think that like yo, so everyone knows Jimmy Butler is like now like Billy Badass. You know what I'm saying? He's the tough guy. He's the guy. I don't care about bringing my family here because I have a job to. Like,
but I feel like he's always been like that. He's just more popular now. Like he was like that in Chicago. If you ever followed him in Marquette, when they always talked about him in Marquette, he didn't have the skill set he has now. But when like the announcers or somebody talk about, that's always kind of been like his personality. Like I think
pretty.
That's so hard to like.
Homeless, fatherless.
As hard as you guys think. I really.
But what is? I don't get what you're saying. Like, what has changed?
So what I'm saying about Jimmy Butler is like I'm listening to Dan Le Batard, right? And like the Miami like Homer.
That's his problem. He always listens to
The problem is that you assume that someone else can't be right and that your opinion is always correct. So
no, but like it's not that, but it's
hold on. You can see
it makes sense
because you cut me off. So there was a sequence in the game where Jimmy Butler is going crazy and he's staring like directly into the camera, and they start the conversation of like, yo, like people play into it. Like, I'm not the first person to think that Bron does some antics on the court, or he does something where I'm like, all right, like he knows where the cameras are, he knows what he's trying to do, like, you know what I'm saying? Everything is like I don't think that like Kawhi's purposely like, all right, I'm gonna just be completely quiet, but I do think that he does play up and play into the character of I'm the stoic guy, I'm the quiet guy. Even like Duncan would show you emotion during the game.
But like I feel like I get that, but like we've all played sports here, and I don't know, like even like I went to a D3 Wheaton, but like when the crowd is there and like something happens in the game, like we used to Brian Weeks, we used to always make a joke about it, like you had your fraud moment. Like Weeks' personality is like so cool, calm, collective. He won't like you. Weeks kind of doesn't show any emotion. He kind of just kind of there. He's chilling. And let's say he'll hit a big three. He'll look at the crowd and he'll scream or he'll do something like this. But it's not because he's so hyped that the crowd is there. So that's what happens with these guys. They're big time players. You know a camera's there. Your girl might be in the crowd. You're gonna
before cameras in the building.
Yeah, that's just natural. That's not a matter of like trying to play into a role. That's just like
even
like. But my thing with you is, all right, let's say if you was correct.
Yeah.
Why would the players who are perceived in a negative light or not the most popular try their best during these moments where they're consciously thinking in the midst of a high battle game to change that narrative?
So let's look at a guy who's viewed in a negative light right now, Russell Westbrook, right?
Right.
So Russell Westbrook's not viewed in a negative light for how he carries himself. He's viewed in a negative light because his play is kind of out of control. Like, remember when he was hitting those shots and he's yelling and screaming at the nobody in the crowd? You know what I'm saying? Because they're in the bubble. People like that. Like that's what makes, like, you know what I'm saying? That's what builds into that mystique of, yo, like, I don't care, I'm going 1,000 miles an hour. F everybody can get it. Like who are you? Like, yo, who are you yelling at?
But Josh, that's what kind of confuses me, because sometimes I feel like you listen to these stuff, and you're right, that is their opinion, and they're entitled to opinion. But hold on one second. I feel like you listen to these stuff and you start over-analyzing. Like, have you ever been in a park or open gym before? What happens in the bubble happens at every elite open gym or every park. I've seen it. Like, it's not just he's hyped up. He's playing the Lakers in the playoffs. Like, fuck is he talking about? I score. Like, that happens. That'll happen if you go to games.
Bro, what I'm saying to you is that, yes, I know that there's emotion, but what I'm telling you is that all these dudes, like, people, like, either you think these players are smart and they're their own business entity and they know what they're doing and they're businessmen, or you think that they're just, like, not in control of their emotions and what they do on the floor. One or the other. Yo, Zeem is frozen.
Is he? His mouth is funny.
Yo, Zeem is frozen. All right, I'm about to kick.
Wi-Fi.
I'm about to. All right, hold on, wait. All right,
Z?
you're back now.
No.
Yep.
All right. Did that happen with everybody?
I don't know.
You had something in your mouth. That's crazy.
Yeah, you was frozen. Yeah, that was.
You had something in your mouth. I don't know. It might have been gum. I don't know what it was.
I mean, I definitely think that, like, if you got a brand, like, you definitely have to carry a certain type of way. You have to act a certain type of way. But I just feel like throughout the course of a game, it's just like
that's a lot.
Almost humanly impossible to maintain a image unless you've like tricked yourself into believing that's who you are 24/7. Like, it's almost impossible to play an intense basketball game and then just say to yourself, "Oh, I got to make sure I'm acting this way." Like, that's kind of like I don't do that.
That don't sound.
Like, that's a great. If you're able to do that, that's a crazy talent.
Yeah. I'm saying, like, I just give these players more. I'm just gonna end with this. I give these players more credit that they're more in control, smart, and like able to manipulate the situations. Like I'm not like, you can't sit here and tell me that, like, for instance, like a artist, you know what I'm saying, how they plan out some stuff that they're gonna do in the show. Bron's not like, all right.
Yeah, but that's you have time to think.
Yeah. Hard, like the game, you don't know what's gonna happen. The artist,
Westbrook went crazy and screamed at nobody, and then.
But that's like, I guess, basketball.
James did the same thing, went crazy, screamed at nobody.
But that's just the fact to tell you that's the emotion of the game. It doesn't matter if a fan is there or not. You don't just say, "Oh, let me scream because cameras are." Like, the way he does it, you're like, "Damn, that's within the like when LeBron first took his when he won his first chip, and he accepted the Finals MVP speech. He kind of looked this way, kind of looked that way. Then he said the French Montana line. I ain't worried about nothing. Like, I could tell, like, he thought in that moment, like, I need to say something right here. With certain stuff like that, like, it's just so, like, if you go to a pickup game, go to like anywhere like plays high level basketball and they're running fulls, like, that's just what happens.
I'm just saying.
You don't think when he's playing in the summer he don't scream?
And then my biggest thing is, so I can't say what you're saying is completely out of line, because I could think of different pockets of, when Cat, who we get in a fight with, because everyone kept saying he was soft.
Joel Embiid, yeah.
Joel Embiid. So that was a pause moment where he could think about, like, oh, everyone thinks I'm soft? Well, let me do X, Y, and Z. But not in the midst of a game. Like, some people have that character. Like, who just said it the other day? Brad Wanamaker. He's in the middle of the game, showboating, like, whatever. Like, there's no fans in there. He was excited. You know what I mean?
You don't think and, like, yo, when you play on a team, like, I'm not sure how it was for you, Josh, PCD. I'm not sure how it is, because I know a lot of prep schools don't have, like, the benefit of a lot of crowds. So, Zeem and myself, someone that kind of went to school in the city, you thinking before the game, like, how you gonna wear your sneakers? How you gonna wear your socks? Like, what you gonna do? Like, there's people in the crowd, they know, like, yo, X, Y, and Z IG model Bria Miles is watching. Hey, like, what you call it? That IG model said it's Tyler Tuesday. So he gonna come out, he gonna front a little bit. But I don't think when they go do their press conferences, when they go handle their interviews, I agree. Like, yes, you're gonna act a certain type of way, because at the same time, you help promoting your brand. But
I'll give you the perfect example. I'll give you a perfect example, right? So, with the crowds, there was a lot of games where there wasn't that much crowd, but we did play against a lot of public school teams. So Zeem could really attest to this. When I was at PCD, we went to Central to play them. Aaron, I forget the other dude's name. And so we went there and played them, and I'm busting their ass. But I already had it in my mind that, yo, I'm going to score on this dude, and I'm going to scream on him, because of the perception is that we're going to come in there walking around scared. So I'm like, all right, the first layup I get, the first and one I get, I'm going to scream in this dude's face just to show the rest of the dudes, like, yo, I'm not scared to be here. Y'all shouldn't be scared to be here. Nothing's going to happen. So, like, stuff like that, like that's something that, like,
that was premeditated.
Yeah, like, that's like everybody does that.
No, I'm saying, but so that's what I'm saying. I think a lot of the stuff that we see from a lot of these guys is premeditated. Like James Harden, like you know, a lot of his stuff is premeditated, and he's a dude that probably thinks too much, because we always talk about we watch him play, and sometimes he'll hold on to the ball, dribbling, thinking too much about X, Y, Z. So I know going into a game, he's like kind of predetermined a lot of stuff. Oh, I'm gonna hit a three and run by that bench and do this. You know what I'm saying? Like, whereas Kawhi saying like, yo, I'm gonna get buckets. I'm not gonna do anything. I'm just gonna run back. Like, cause that's his like.
Ain't that what you're supposed to do, John? I don't get it. Like, I feel like you just overanalyze sometimes.
Yeah,
No, I'm saying, but I'm saying, like, even when, like, yo, it shocked me. Like, yo, y'all can, after this podcast, go back and watch that shot that he hit against Philly that went ding, ding, ding in. I'm not gonna say nothing. Just watch it and then just text me in the chat.
No, I get it, but I feel like there's ball players that are like, and I felt like I seen it a lot in New York. Like Kimba in high school, he had just this swag to him. Like, he had like can do, and like just the way, like Lance Stevenson, for example, like that's just his ball player swag. Like every ball player has in high school. Like Lance, if I could show you how he walked like he was on his tippy toes, like you could see the calf muscle popping out of his leg. But I know that's not how he naturally walked, but that's just like he wanted to be seen as like a basketball. That's what everybody does.
Yeah, but I'm saying, so like that, but that's my thing with Kawhi. Like, I know that inside there's like there's like a LeBron inside Kawhi. Like, if that makes sense, if you know what I'm trying to say. But anyway, that's a point. Wait, the high school point is something I kind of wanted to get to. So we've been having lots of conversations. The bubble's back. We're all excited about basketball, man. But yo, what is this thing where people just feel like, oh, I could be in the NBA right now and contribute, or I'm better than this NBA guy? What is the science behind that? Talk to me.
I think it's pure ignorance, foolery, whatever negative word you can put behind it.
Delusional.
So people don't understand with this sport. Like, if you may have played a guy in high school, you made a play a guy in pickup. That kid was 15 years old, however, 18 years old. He's went through a college program, competed with nothing but elite players, got the most elite training. And then it's almost like I'll use an example. Ricky Lito. Yeah. I remember when Rick was first drafted to the Dallas Mavericks and he came home. Everybody, I think he was on the Knicks by this time. There were multiple people saying that because he would come back and he would play in a men's league and he would come, just get his shots up, like, walking 20, but sometimes it wasn't what they were expecting because of the fact that he played in the NBA. And I would almost say, like, it's almost a disrespect to him, taken away from the work he's put in the craft, that you're going to compare yourself to him, because sometimes you have to think like, all right, this is where he played. Do I see myself playing there? This is what he's done. Do I see myself doing this? He's this tall. Can I do the things he do at this height? So I just think that, like, a lot of people just treat it like video games and television makes you feel like nowadays, makes you feel like you're right there with the person. Social media, and it's like, this person's here, or I may have seen this person, or I may have played against this person, and he may have had only 10 points, and the kid may not have been going hard that day, and you may have had 20 going your absolute 10. And you just feel like, because that one day, that gives you the right to say, damn, if he's here, I could be here. So that's just my thoughts on that.
You know what really, this is why I was happy I got into refereeing basketball and seeing the different levels of that. Because there's the skill sets of what it takes to even play, and Jiggy, you could attest to this, EYBL is a whole nother level. There are 14, 15-year-olds that I know can hop on the court and blow out everybody in Lynn's league. Like, I'm being dead ass. And that's when I just know that it's leveled. And that is a great example of, like, Lito. I'm like, Lito is coming here just to get shots up, just to get run. This is cardio. He's not putting up his maximum effort. Do you know, to make the NBA is literally like hitting the lottery with hard work, skill, and dedication, and a little bit of luck. You know what I'm saying? And he hit on all of those factors. And I think what happens, especially in Providence, is they see him, they're able to socialize with him, they're able to actually get on the court with him, so they think it is actually doable. Where that's where the mystique comes from. To make the NBA, like, and this is where I even like joke around, but I'm not joking, is when I see these refereeing games that I had the honor, it's not really honor, but honor, privilege to ref some of these EYBL games, and I'm seeing these 6'11", skinny 15-year-old monsters just dominating, and I'm just like, it's just levels to it. So it's just delusion. It's more of, where they want to be. It's just, cloth talk for the group chats. It's just like, I don't put a lot of stock into what these guys are saying because I know in their heart of hearts they really don't believe it. But a lot of these guys picked up basketball. Well, a lot of these guys picked up a basketball at a young age, and they're quick to say every single excuse for why they didn't make it, besides giving the credit and understanding the levels to make it to the NBA. So, like, when I think of the Litos and the Rakims and the Jeff Xavier and the Tony Robinsons, I'm just thinking of local guys that made it to that even, that next level. These guys are specimen, one-of-a-kind, special talents. And even when we talk and critique them, honestly, we have no right, authority, or privilege to even speak on what they're doing on the court. But obviously, for our chats, we're going to do so. But we got to make sure that we utter their names with respect, even to make D1 in this country.
Yeah, no, and I don't think, and that's a good point. I don't think a lot of people realize, like, the percentage of people, like, in the country that even play high school basketball, let alone D3, further D2, and then the less amount of even playing D1. And just like you said, like, so like Rakim, for example, Rakim will never play in a men's league. So you're judging everything based off of the highlights and the footage and what's out there of him. So I feel like a lot of people won't take it to that next step with him. Whereas, like, Rick, he's in the city, like, he's playing, like, he'll be on your team. He doesn't care what team he's on. He's just like that. So it's like, damn, like, if he's here, I can be here. But what you're not realizing is, like, all right, he's a professional. He does it for his job. Like, he's in coast mode right now, and you're playing as hard as you can. So it's just like a little bit of, like, perception versus reality. And, like, there's some kids, like, it's just different. Like, there may be a 15-year-old who's about, like, 6'5", 6'7", but his body's just so different. So even though the skill and the talent hasn't matched up yet to the body, like, his body's just how it goes sometimes. His body's just so much different that when that skill does catch up, he's going to be pretty elite. And I don't think a lot of people understand, like, the necessary steps it takes and what you have to do and the luck you need in order to be successful with basketball.
Exactly.
You guys know I'm sorry, Jiggy. And you guys know the groupiness I was acting when I was, like, hosting even those Camp Arrow joints, when he brings those, NCAA Division I prospects. I'm like, yo, this is different. And that's just a little of what the country has to offer. That's not even the best of the best. Go ahead, Josh.
So I can piggyback from there. So I remember when Calvin brought Hami down, and everyone was like, yo, Hami's gonna be like the next Kobe. He's like gotta be the best. And I'm like, yo, Hami's dead nice, but he's more like a top 15, top 20. What do you mean? How do you coach? How do you let you coach basketball? You know what you're talking about? Like, because I'm like, I've seen him play amongst his peers and what he looks like in an organized game and stuff like that. So I'm like, yo, yeah, like, Hami's nice, but there's DeAndre Ayton, there's Marvin Bagley, you know what I'm saying? There's all these other guys that you guys haven't seen yet that I've seen. I'm like, yo, like, listen, he's nice, but Michael Porter Jr. is nicer. You know what I'm saying? Like, even when you go, so, all right, so I use this as an example, right? I used to coach a team called Team Providence, right? That was a local team. So when I went to Coach Expression, I tried to bring as many kids as I could with me. Some of them were like, nah, we don't want to go. We don't want to do the travel. So now I'm fast forward to like 8th, 9th grade, and we're playing against them, but they're under some different name, and they beat us. They beat us 66-65. I'll never forget this, right? And they're acting like they won a Super Bowl, and I'm like, damn, I don't want to lose to them, but it is what it is. So we end up playing in the same tournament again in the championship, and we beat them by 45 points. So it's like, you can get up for that one game when this other team doesn't care about you. Like we're saving our best efforts for like the CP3s or like a team takeover, something like that. Whereas this is your Super Bowl. This is everything to you. So like show me the good point. Like yo, dudes playing against Ricky D in men's league like it's the like it's game 7.
Yeah.
Yo, bro, like just don't get too close to me. I don't want to sprain an ankle. You know what I'm saying? So and it really starts at AAU, man, where you might have a good game against a guy that eventually made the NBA. So now you think like, I could be there when in actuality, he didn't care about that game. He's worried about the next game where he got to face off against the top 25 guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. It's, like I said, it's just pride. A lot of times niggas just joking the joke. They're not really dead into it like that. But they be some out there that really be like dead set, like, yo, I'm like, yo, do you not know how hard it is to make it to the NBA without playing college ball with no NCAA tape on you, to going off potential, and you still, we know the guy that said a statement that, he'll drop 8 points in the NBA finals right now. It's just like, what do we, like, it's just, and I have high regards and respect to everybody who plays ball, especially me.
It's okay. This level is like, yo, I always teach, I use a D3 player, like, but I know that Sean was a good basketball player. You know what I'm saying? But Sean also has he has the reasoning skill to understand, like, yo, like there's dudes who are my height in D1 pulling from 20 feet off the 3-point line. You know what I'm saying? Go up, it changes. It's different. You know what I'm saying? And
like that, and that's a good point. Like just because, like and I think I feel like it's changing more so now. And I feel like kind of when I was growing up, like high school, it was a little different. Like it was kind of looked down upon if you were going D3. Whereas now, like you're seeing, it's becoming like D3 kids are getting like making the announcements like the D1 kids. So it's becoming more of an acceptable thing. But just because you're not necessarily, like I said, just look at the percentages of the kids that actually go on to play Division I basketball. Like that doesn't mean because you couldn't play at the highest level that you're not a good basketball player. Like obviously there can be someone better than you. And even for the D1 guys, there's guys in Europe, guys that go in the NBA, D1 guys that are never going to even play in the NBA, so it's just always levels to everything. But side note, the all defensive team first team just came out. We got Greek Freak, AD, Rudy Gobert, Ben Simmons, and Marcus Smart.
That's
solid. That's a solid 5.
I like that.
Kawhi second team.
Yeah.
I think maybe because he didn't play enough games.
Oh, wow. This is kind of shocking. Kawhi, Bam, Brook Lopez, Pat Bev, and Eric Bledsoe.
Wow, a lot of bucks, huh? That's what you get for being number 1.
I don't know about Bledsoe. I don't know about Bledsoe and Brook.
Either. That's a shocking name right there.
I would put Brook Lopez on there before Bledsoe because Brook Lopez really was doing a good job on defense this year. Bledsoe, I'm not so sure. But definitely Brook.
Pat Bev, I feel he's a decent defender, but I feel he talks his way on there.
Yeah. Every year.
Bam did his thing. So
Bam did his thing. But Pat Bev is a talker.
Bam, I feel like PJ Tucker should take somebody's spot.
But PJ Tucker don't get his respects, not to put him out there, but Zeem was talking about Jeff Green should be playing over PJ Tucker, and I'm like, yo, the whole reason that Houston can do what they do is because PJ is guarding guys 6'10", 6'11",
which is crazy.
Because he's like 6'4", 6'5".
You know how sore he must be at night?
Yeah, it must be ridiculous.
I don't think PJ Tucker would have made it through the whole season if they started doing this from game 1, continuous all the way through the playoffs.
Right. He needed that 4 or 5 months off.
Yeah, it's a lot to ask. So, all right, so we could talk about the bubble action. Right now, as of right now, the Bucks are trailing the Heat 3-1. Boston is up on the Raptors 3-2. Houston and LA are tied 1-1, and LA Clippers are up on the Denver Nuggets 2-1. Where do you guys want to start?
Well, let's start with the easiest one first. It's unfortunate Greek Freak can't play again tonight in what it would be, Game 5. So it's looking like a gentleman's sweep that's about to come their way. Just a lot of question marks with Greek and his future. I just feel bad for these small market opportunities. Obviously, we joke on it. Even Nick Young says something funny. No one wants to raise a family in Milwaukee. And I think that was also with the whole Black Lives Matter movement and that whole situation he tried to throw in there in regards to that comment. But it's looking like the Bucks are a regular season team. They do enough to accumulate all these wins, but you need about 2 or 3 go-get-it snipers. And Chris Middleton, he did show us in Game 4, he has that potential. Maybe Greek's hindering him, and that sounds wild to say, but maybe hesitancy in regards to his flow. But shout out to Miami Heat. I think they got the 2 youngest, most promising American white boys, Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero, which I give them a lot of credit.
Duncan Robinson, D3.
Yeah, facts. I think Jimmy Butler's getting too much credit, in my opinion, in regards to this culture that he brought. But I think a lot of it needs to go to Spo and Pat Riley. Let me see, Lakers and Rockets.
Hold on. Let's show
one. Oh, my fault. One series at a time. My bad.
Let's show some of that team.
I'm kind of up in the air about the Bucks because, for nothing, they could come back, win tonight without Greek. Greek's back the next game, and then this next thing you know, we going 7. But kind of what I've seen so far, I think the Bucks, and we talked about this the other day, the Bucks have obviously Greek. The Greek Freak is very talented. He's elite. He's a top 5 player in the NBA, regardless of what the situation is right now. But I think his inability to be able to knock down a shot sometimes affects the makeup of their team. They have a lot of specialists. So they have a lot of guys that will put in place. So when Greek Freak is crowded, he kicks it out, he makes a shot. And then Middleton is kind of your playmaker. Bledsoe is a little, he can't really shoot it. So that kind of hurts you a little bit. I think that they may be a little better tonight without Greek. The fact that they'll be able to move the ball a little more. Chris Middleton will have a little more room to operate, kind of some Bledsoe, some other guys. So the court won't be as shrunk. So I'm interested to see how tonight goes. Miami Heat, like you said, you hit it on the nail. That's the Spoelstra and Pat Riley. That's their DNA. That's I feel like they put a stat out the other day. Pat Riley has gotten so many guys that have flown under the radar and made them into something. And Udonis Haslem, tons of other guys. The list goes on. So that's kind of what they've been doing in Miami. They'll have some off years, but then they'll always be relevant. Jimmy Butler, man, I got to give kudos to him. Everybody was kind of questioning that Miami Heat move when he first did it. Why go to Miami? And he's proven that, listen, I can be a leader on a team. And if he wins tonight, he has a very good chance to go to a finals, which will be crazy. I don't think anyone ever saw that. So give kudos to Jimmy.
Yeah, man. I think that this series is it's telling, but it's not. One, I think that Miami was the worst matchup that Milwaukee could have gotten in the playoffs. Regardless of East or West. I also think that the Greek Freak, we've been saying this for a while. People are trying to put him in that Kawhi, LeBron, KD kind of mold. But I do think that he's more – I think he's a 2020 Shaq. And what I mean by that is I think that Shaq was only getting swept out the playoffs because he didn't have that other guy. And once Kobe became that other guy, they started to win mad championships. And then he went to Miami and did it with Wade. I think that what the Greek Freak need is not an Eric Bledsoe and not a Chris Middleton. He would benefit from playing with a Kyrie or a Steph
Curry,
or James Harden or something like that, a guy that can create, because Greek is, he's very skilled, but he's a shooter. And he needs someone to take that pressure off where he's going to have where the defense has to sink towards that other guy and he can get it on the run and just do his thing. So, Greek's going to take a lot of criticism this summer, and, that's just the way of the world, but he's 25. He got a lot of room to grow, and I think that whether he stays or goes, he will eventually win an NBA championship.
Yeah, like, yo, he plays 30 minutes a game. Like, that was what I think his average was for the season, and he averages 30 points and 14 rebounds. So that's, like, kind of crazy. And
Yeah.
like, that's unheard of. So, like, he's definitely, like, elite.
Mm-hmm. So how you guys feeling about the Clippers Nuggets?
My guys is just coasting. My guys is coasting. I think we're going to close that out in 6. Like, I want to close out in 5 so we could get – Kawhi needs some rest right now, but – Clippers, like, the dogs, they're just locked, loaded, hungry, like, not taking no shit, not respecting nobody, stoic, and we not doing it for show. So, man, I just want to get past the Clipper Nuggets, just want to get to the full course meal, So
I agree, man. Listen, what I'm just noticing this last couple of series that Kawhi Leonard really is the best player in the NBA on both sides of the ball. Leadership. He's always triple C's, cool, calm, and collective. I was a little nervous because I do see flaws. Every team has flaws. You know what I'm saying? And our flaws is just size down low in the sense of Trez, Zubac, Jermichael Green. Those are things that we could work on. But if we get that Paul George to ride with Kawhi Leonard, it is spooky for the NBA. And the Nuggets, I want to give them credit because they're a really, really good team. I like Mike Malone as a coach. I'm a growing fan of Joker. Jamal Murray, unfortunately, is too inconsistent. And, it's a difference between seeing Kawhi Leonard and seeing Joe Ingles when you come off that, high screen and roll. So Clippers are going to end it in 5. I just think that the Nuggets played their maximum best. Everybody's hitting all cylinders besides Jamal Murray. And I feel Jamal Murray is they're going to launch up shots, but he's going to shoot a low percentage. So we're just going to default. And we still haven't even got the Lou Williams that everybody's accustomed to. And Trez as well, besides that blowout game where he got a lot of garbage point. So I think the Clippers are still gelling. So spooky times for the rest of the NBA, man.
I think that the Lou Will and Trez thing is going to be interesting because I think for the Clippers to win the championship, it got to be Kawhi and then Paul George. But the gulf of productivity from Kawhi and Paul George, it has to be there because if you're dependent on Lou Will and Trez a lot, I think that's where the Clippers could get into trouble. As we spoke about, like Trez, he's solid on offense and he's terrible on defense. Lou Will is a great offensive player, awful on defense. And if you watch a lot of that game, they pick on Trez and Lou Will constantly until the best lineup was when they put Pat Beverly in at the end along with Paul George and those guys, and Jermichael Green's another really good defender on the low. If I'm the Clippers, I am doing everything I can to make sure I keep Paul George going because if Paul George is not what he's supposed to be for the Clippers, having to depend on Lou Will and Trez is gonna get them beat.
So I'll rebut that with this, like just like the same issue like we're having with the Clippers others right now, the Lakers are having the same issues with their others. If LeBron and AD don't go, or if one of them's even off, that team pretty much hit or miss. Right now, I think they're more talented and they may do certain things better than the Rockets right now. So we're not seeing that. But I think when it's like a evenly matched team, like we're going to – if they meet in the Western Conference Finals, I think that kind of cancels it out. They've proven it this year. They're 2-2 is 50-50, so it could go either way. And I just kind of want to give a shout out to Kawhi, man, because I feel like people were taking shots at him, talking about like the Raptors, like look, like he left this team and they're right back at it. They're primed to go to a chip. They didn't need Kawhi, but you kind of seeing it now. They're still a very good team, but you're seeing certain instances where like when them lights get bright, Spicy P ain't ready to hit them shots like Kawhi was. Like he's not that like scorer. Like they're dependent on like, Van Fleet. And Josh, you always said this quote back in the day. You said if your best player is 6 feet, like, you got. So this Fred Van Fleet, that can't be a guy that's gonna make or break you.
Yeah. I think that, so I'll say this about Kawhi. So, like, yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Kawhi's a top 3 player at the very least. So, and Toronto didn't replace him with anybody. So, like, the fact that they're playing the way that they play, I don't think is nothing against, like, it's like against Kawhi. I don't think it's against the Raptors. It's just like the circumstance. Like, if they would replace them with at least like a decent player, I think that they might have enough to get past the Celtics. But they don't. But they don't have enough talent. You know. I mean, and so like, it's just like if you took, you know, like when Braun leaves a team or when so and so leaves, like, you know what I'm saying, like that team falls. You know what I'm saying, falls down. So I think the Raptors had a respectable showing, and I think Kawhi is playing great. I don't think that it's an indictment on either one, if that makes sense.
Nah, but I know what Dot was saying. A lot of the talk was
shot, and they paid Spicy P to be that guy. He's an all-star. If we're gonna hold Middleton in that regard, we gotta hold Spicy P to it.
I don't know. I don't think that. Like, I think the biggest thing is that no one, at least me, I didn't think that like Toronto could win a chip. Like the fact that they were a 2 seed to me was kind of like, oh wow, all right, you know. But
they gave Nick Nurse credit, you know what I mean? Like,
yes.
They gave Nick Nurse the coach of the year, you know, because everyone was shocked.
Yeah, absolutely. So as far as the Lakers go, like, I'm not a LeBron fan, but I had to give Bron his credit, man. 35 years old, still doing what he's doing. And I'll be perfectly honest with you. I think, like, I watch him play sometimes, and I'm like, oh yeah, Kawhi's better than LeBron right now. And then sometimes, like, I'll watch a game like Bron just had, but yo, Bron's still the best guy in the league. So I give us credit because Kawhi's what, 28?
Yeah.
I mean, and it's like a pick'em, because I think that if you put LeBron, you know, I'm like doing that game. I just want to give them both respect, but I do think that Bron is doing a little bit more, but that's not to say that Kawhi isn't a better player, if that makes sense.
I just feel, first of all, I'll admit, LeBron is playing amazing. I'm a fan of LeBron. I hate the fact that I got to root against him because I already know the backlash is coming this way when the Clippers beat him in 6. Like, it's inevitable. But what he's doing, and I'm not even doing all that age stuff anymore, year 17. He is just primed and ready and good to go and in his bag. And the Lakers go as he goes. AD, yes, you're crucial, but the game is determined, and that's why I always give LeBron credit. He determines the flow of the game, the pace of the game. Are we going to be three-point shooters tonight? Are we attacking the rim tonight? Are we getting these foul calls? So I've got to give him credit. I just know the Rockets have the capability and additional with the confidence that they can push this series to go 7. And in that 7 games, I still have Lakers coming up on top, but the style, like the fact that you're like, oh, we got all these 7-footers, but after game 1, Vogel realized, nah, Howard and McGee, they can't play in this series. They're non-factors. And I got to give Frank credit. Second game, you know what? Let me go with Marcus Morris and Kuzma some more tick, and it showed out and show improved. So I got to give LBJ credit. Harden is just difficult to guard. And Russell Westbrook will redeem himself tonight in game 3. And he is the X factor. If Russell gives the Rockets 24, 11, and 6 with 4 or less turnovers, the Rockets are winning tonight +6.
Yo, he don't even need to do that. Like, he don't need none of those. He don't need none of those. Like, if he just valued the ball, like, Rockets would be up 2-0 right now. Like, he didn't even need – he could have been as cold as he was if he just took care of the basketball. If he missed those shots and he missed it in a timely manner, we'd be looking at 2-0. And TV would be crazy right now. But, like, you know, it is what it is. So
yeah,
I'm
man.
so mad I missed that game because I don't, like, I hear you guys, and I'm just like, what? Like, what's a timely bad shot or a turnover?
So let me say this. It's not about the timing of the turnovers. It's just, all right, so he has 7 turnovers. All right, that happens. He's handling like the ball out. But then it's just the bad shots. It's the bad shots. And like the biggest secret about Russell Westbrook that no one ever talks about, and I've been talking about this for the past 4 or 5 years, he is a terrible defender. Like, yo, there was so many times where, like, P.J. Tucker and Covington is telling him, like, yo, come here so that Bron or AD or whoever can't get through, like, that wall. And he's, like, dicking around doing nothing. And I'm like, yo, and like, me, as just, like, watching it as, like, a basketball fan, not like turning to, I'm like, damn, thank God he's out there. Because, yo, he does so many things that take away from them. And the thing about it is everyone's like, yo, Russell Westbrook can do this. Bro, like, yo, no shade towards Melo, but like in that series, like, yo, Melo's cooking. I'm like, yeah, keep feeding him, because I know playing the 2-point game versus the Lakers, Portland or Houston cannot win that. Houston and Portland need mad threes to make it so that so that they're like plus 30 on the 3-point line. Like, yo, we took the Rockets' best shot. They hit 10 threes in the third quarter and still lost. That's crazy.
That is. But then what they do fourth quarter, they only hit 2 of 14 in the fourth. That's the Rockets style of game.
It wasn't that, Z. Like, bro, like they would. Oh, I just so frustrated because I wanted them to go up 2-0 so bad. But like it would just be like, all right, when Harden was in the game, it was like a flow. Like even if they miss, you're missing the shot and you got a chance to get back. Like they're getting somewhere. There's an emphasis on the basketball. Well, Westbrook is just like Sonic the Hedgehog, like pew 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 pew, and whatever happens, happens. You know what I'm saying? If he missed, it's like, damn, everybody's in an awkward position now because we don't know what this guy's gonna do. So if the Lakers do happen to get the rebound, they're off and running and they have an advantage every time down.
Yo,
I get it. I can see that happening.
Yo, I forgot what I was listening to, but I was thinking this. I'm like, damn, like Russell Westbrook really like the best player for the Lakers right now, other than LeBron and.
Oh my God! Did you hear that?
I seen that too.
Did you hear that? He said, "I forgot what I was." No. He said, "I forgot what I was listening to, but I thought," and then just reiterated what the freak you was listening to. Get out of here with your mumbo jumbo, lines and fingers. Get out of here. Let's go to Celtics and Raptors. Get out of here.
Yo, listen, I don't know where I heard it from because you watch so much, you're working, you're typing, everyone's talking. But I'm just saying that Russell Westbrook, like, if they had Daniel House or, like, Macklemore or someone else out there for that one game, they might have beaten us. Seriously. So, quickly, Celtics, Raptors, do we feel that series is over?
No, I think it's going to go 7. I think they'll come back and they'll – Raptors, even though they're lacking in, like, talent, they don't have, like, a guy like a Tatum that's just going to – like make shots, would play the best defense ever, and it's still gonna go in. But I think they're tough enough where they're not gonna get blown out like that again. So I expect Game 6 to be close game, and Raptors. Lowry steps up, he makes the right plays and puts people in the right position, and they win that. And remember this? Like, remember we used to say we don't want Lowry in the playoffs, and now Lowry is make or break in the playoffs for the Raptors. That's like crazy to me.
Yo, listen.
Because DeMar DeRozan ain't putting his mental depressedness on him. That's why. But I 3 takes I got from this. First of all, Nick Nurse is a hell of a coach. I really like what he had said about Spicy P and calling him out and just be like, yo, he has not been the same since we got back from the bubble. Secondly, what the Celtics are doing right now shows me a lot, first of all, about Kyrie and the indictment on him and what he brings to teams.
Hold on. Pause real quick. Pause. Joshua Correa, can you please come to the stand?
I'm here.
Did Kazeem Adedarian or not say to us, anytime specific people gets brought up, LeBron always has to get tied in? And yet, what is he doing? Continue, Kazeem.
We're talking about the Celtics. We're talking about the Celtics. He just played with them, and like it goes hand in hand.
So, in fairness, me and Zeem have been more on the, like, even me, I know that Kyrie's a lot more talented than Kemba. Well, not talented, but just a better player. But I think that Kemba, his personality and style of play is probably a little bit more better playing with Jalen and Tatum because Tatum and Jalen are like ascending this way, and Kemba already is kind of who he is, and he's not trying to get more. Whereas when Kyrie came to Boston, he was still on that like, yo, like I need to prove that I can do X, Y, Z. So it just didn't work out. Now I don't think Kyrie's like the easiest guy to play with, but yeah, like I don't think like all right, I'm gonna just stop because
post game, and this was telling, and I waited for it. You know, bring to the podcast. Jaylen Brown said, "We are playing like this because of our leader, Kemba Walker. Since he kicked, like this is no. I don't know what happened between Jaylen Brown and Kyrie. I know they had subs with each other, but he came out like the announcer was trying to give him a lot of praise, and he kept saying, "Nah, Kemba is our fearless leader."
But like I get that.
All right.
I get that. And from what I could say this, like I remember Kemba Rice High School, he played with a bunch of stars. Like his high school team was like his starting five was Durant Scott went to Miami, Chris Fowler.
Nice.
Like he played with all D1 guys. He was the best guy, but he always, if you go to the Gauchos, that whole Gauchos team was basically the Big East when it was the real Big East. And then when he got to UConn, he came in as a freshman. He was kind of under AJ Price and all those stars. You know what I'm saying? So he's always known how to like play amongst stars. Whereas like Kyrie in high school, he was kind of the best guy. His second best player was Michael Kidd Gilchrist. So he always had to like be the do everything guy. He never had to get along. Everybody had to play to what Kyrie wanted. Whereas Kemba's a very good player, but he also knew how to fit in amongst other good players and kind of be a leader. So like I said, that training and like that molding kind of helps throughout your basketball career. So I do agree with that. Kemba's definitely a better leader in that regards as far as Kyrie. But if I got
my third thing before I let you go, Josh, is just Jason Tatum he's the one. He's next up. So I don't know how the East is gonna look like in the sense of superstars, but for the next 3 to 4 years, he's gonna be the top 3 player in the East.
Yo, honestly, I think Jaylen Brown and Kyrie had tension because they're both supposed to be like smart, heady guys. So they probably clashed around that. And I'll say this, as good as I think Jason Tatum is, man, Jaylen Brown's right there with him because Tatum will score 30, but Jaylen Brown will score 24 and defend the other guy's best player. You know what I'm saying? So, and what Boston did is so smart. And so now how we talk about Fred VanVleet can't be the best guy. Like, yes, Kemba at times, Kyrie at times can carry you through a playoff stretch. But having one guy 6'8", one guy 6'9" on the other wing as your 2 best players, the 2 focal points of your team is what makes you a championship level team in my thoughts and opinions.
No, I agree. I think the best thing Boston did was when everybody was like kind of media was like saying they shouldn't pay Smart. The best thing they was like keeping that group together, like move because he finally developed into what he's supposed to be. So that was Ainge. Good job.
Yeah,
I've been team Marcus Smart.
Yo, Marcus Smart is a great 3-and-D player.
Yeah,
great 3-and-D player, man. Because he's just great. All right, so I'm gonna move us to the next thing so we can stay on schedule. So really quickly, I want to talk about winner versus champion. So I feel like a lot of this stuff of how we feel about players is a lot about how we view them. We view Chris Paul as a winner, but he's not a champion. And I don't think that people hold the fact that he's not a champion against him. So using that as an example, thinking about some other guys throughout the league, who do you guys feel might not be a champion but is a winner?
So I get the premise of that, and I always harp on that. And to me, like, even though I hate what he did last year, not hate what he did, but obviously it was still one of my favorite players. But Damian Lillard is a winner who I hope becomes a champion. But obviously he is stuck in his persona of I'm going to do it alone. I'm going to, get it out the mud. I'm going to be loyal to this franchise for X, Y, and Z. and does not feed into the narrative of, no, you guys can't tell me nothing. I am one of the nicest in the NBA. Put me in front of Curry, Westbrook, CP3. I'm going to show out. You're going to respect my game. And yes, I might not be able to get these group of guys that, the GM puts in front of me over the hump, but you can't take that away from me. And I think in the last, and I know I criticized him 3 or 4 years ago when he was crying to be an all-star, whatever the case may be. I still think that was fugazi. But he was on some time that regardless of what you media people try to say, I am a winner. You will never be able to see somebody who performs at this level like I do. And I think he's done a great job of that, even when he snipes back at some of these guys on Twitter or even coming at Skip Bayless's neck, which I was like, oh, snap, had Skip fumbling and mumbling and, bringing up receipts because he is sick and tired of, and he's somebody that's taken a chokehold of the narrative because unfortunately, like I always tell you guys, narrative plays a long, long way in how we view guys and the media. And I know you guys try to say, no, these numbers, no. At the end of the day, the narrative that the media creates and what we create in group chats or whatever goes a long, long way. And prime example, look what happened to Carmelo in just one bubble.
Yeah, I mean,
Dame Lillard's my guy.
Yeah, I like to, I don't know, not everyone can win the championship. I think that we always going to view maybe a Dame Lillard or a CP3 better than we view like a Melo or a Harden because for some reason we think that wings are the key to success and maybe because these guys are smaller, we're not have the same expectations or whatever on them, which might, play into that.
No, I agree. Obviously, I think the best winner would probably be CP3. That has out of guys who haven't won a chip. I would say after that, it kind of gets tough.
But what makes it's just tough because obviously I'm thinking for my
it
guy.
Makes him a winner
I'm
because
for my guy Westbrook. So Westbrook, see your face? You see? Look at your face. You see what I'm saying? So. It's tough because CP3 had a lot of first-round failures, a lot of teams at the expectations where everybody conceded they put great pieces around them. Yes, I'll give one of those years with the Clippers injury, that's what happened. And then obviously with the Rockets and his hamstring. But then you got to go accolades. If you want to go boom for boom, Westbrook has more first-team All-NBAs. Westbrook has more All-Stars. Westbrook got Olympic gold medals. Westbrook, I know you're going to say it's because of KD. He made it to the finals, and he's a key contributor to that. It's like, where do we draw the line where are we going numbers now or now we're going off narrative? And when I hear you say CP3 winner over Westbrook, I go, it's personal. You're not taking the accolades in.
No.
Your preference and style of play. We got to go with numbers.
It's not personal. The reason why I say CP's probably the best winner because you got to look at kind of everywhere he's been and he's made careers. If you go back to New Orleans, he pretty much made Tyson Chandler an all-star. He kind of pretty much made David West an all-star. If you go to the Clippers, he kind of molded Eric Bledsoe. He kind of made DeAndre Jordan who he was. He kind of made Blake was already good, but he kind of put Blake in amazing situations. I feel like he kind of got JJ Redick. JJ Redick after the Magic was kind of it was up in the air. You didn't know what you're going to do with him. But after that Clippers run, it kind of made what they see what Chris Paul was able to, how he was able to use JJ Redick. Oh, I can see what this guy can do, and now he's going to get a very good opportunity. And then you go to Houston, and you see what happens with Houston when they're playing, the championship Warriors. They take him to 7 games, and he's the ultimate competitor. He's not going to make mistakes. And let's speak about this year. OKC, a team that was picked to finish 13th, he has them a possession away from upsetting a team with 2 MVPs. So I don't get how I can't put him as the best winner in the NBA.
You know what, Sean? That was a compelling, amazing rebuttal, and I can't even disagree with anything you said. So I digress.
All right, so I mean, because I just think that we look at Westbrook and think like, yo, he should be so much like he puts up the numbers and but it's like you should be so much better.
Josh, when I see sorry to cut you off, Josh, but correct me if I'm wrong. When I see Westbrook, I'm like, damn, like why this nigga can't be? I'm sorry, why this dude can't be Baron Davis or Steve Francis? Like it's like, why you can't be like that? Like,
I think so in fairness to him, I think he's better than those guys. I'll say that.
Yeah, he's better, but why can't he take care of the basketball like how they did?
Because I think that like Russell Westbrook, I don't know, man. I think that his elevator just don't hit the top floor. And it's going to be very interesting these next 2 to 3 seasons how CP3 lost some of his quickness and explosiveness, but still is able to kind of manipulate the game to see if Westbrook can do the same kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? So, and that doesn't say Westbrook's a bad player. Like, he's a great player, but I think that, like, yeah, he went to the finals and the Western Conference Finals, but, like, I mean, if I'm just keeping it 1,000, like, I would trade that whole Clippers roster for Kevin Durant and plug in the holes because they were damn near in the finals with just Westbrook and KD and Serge. Like that was their big three. You know what I'm saying? Like Deion Williams was starting on that team. Like Roberson was starting on that team. So I just think that that's what it is. Like even like a guy like Kyrie that has a ring, no one's gonna view him the same way they view a CP3. Because he got his ring playing with Braun. Even if he gets another ring playing with KD, they're still not gonna view him, you know what I'm saying, in that light. So I digress. So I'm gonna move us to a different topic, one that's been percolating in the group chat. Zeem, can you talk to me a little bit about Daniel Hernandez?
So after reading a couple of articles, most recently the Double XL, what transpired was, can I still be on and read at the same time?
Nah, man, just go off your opinion. Just go off your opinion, remember?
Off my opinion, I just wanted to put the article in there, but I respect that. So off my opinion, what transpired, unfortunately, was he was selling merch. As you know, the merch, the posters, and when you purchase a t-shirt, a hoodie, anything of that nature, he was automatically giving you the album sales with his, with the purchase of, everybody did. Travis Scott did it when Nicki Minaj went ham on him. This is when he went ham on Ariana Grande and Justin Bieber about their numbers, when Gooba first initially came out. So my thing is, right now he's projected to be between 35 to 50K. So originally it came out to 150, and obviously Billboard discounted all that. I don't know if they just made the rules specifically for him or this is how they're doing moving forward. Maybe if he knew that ahead of time, it would have been just a simple, no, this is the only way you get it. But Daniel Hernandez did a great job of articulating himself like, listen, I know numbers are looking good. App put 150 up, but this is whack. I'm going on Apple Music. I'm going on Spotify. And unfortunately, they're not promoting my album. He does get no radio play. He gets no Sirius XM play. He doesn't get spin in the DJ. Right now, his only marketing tools is his Instagram and his YouTube channel. So first of all, he does have 3 platinum singles off this album, right? I don't know if that was contributed to his album sales, whatever the case may be. But
they didn't contribute to album sales, but say like it'll contribute to his certification on the end. Yep.
On the back end. So he has potentially, for that to still hinder him. But I just wanted to bring up some numbers here, right? So let's say if Daniel Hernandez go 50K. That's a real huge disappointment to you guys. Am I correct?
For him,
real huge disappointment, right?
But how he was talking about like, breaking the internet with streams and YouTube views, like
no, but those numbers are still intact. Like he still has his money for the merch that he sold. But I just want to go to some of you guys' favorite rappers and just let me know, because it's all about keeping it real and being true. So we have Lil Durk. who's one of my favorite artists, who I love 10 times more than Daniel Hernandez, so I don't want the American people to even utter or think that. Love Songs for the Streets. Guess how much that sold? 44,000.
Let me stop you right there. Dirk doesn't have the push that.
Whoa. I'm not done yet. I'll pass it off.
Whoa. I have to stop you.
Here we go, America. You see what happens? You see what happens, America?
No, I'm gonna tell you why I'm gonna stop. Lil Durk's last album, his last album that came out is called Just Cause Y'all Waited Part 2. You guys know the music better than me. That sold 57,000 first week. So he was Hernandez.
All right, fine, fair enough. 57,000 for The Trenches, one of the realest, no rat, no snitch, murder, bang, bang, gang. 7,000 more for what Daniel Hernandez, the rat, is doing. And we got little TJ. True to myself. I'm not even gonna, roast him on that little New York mixtape that only did 17,000 first week. I'm just gonna go to his last full project, which I enjoyed. True to myself did 45K. Then we got Blueface. And I'm only bringing up these three artists because they've been recently in the comments in academics posts in regards to this, poking fun. Blueface, Find the Beat, that had Gunna, Polo G, Little Baby, and the Baby on it, and I only did 32,000 with all those feature artists. With Pump, what's the OG? Whack 100. So I just wanted to bring up that numbers. Obviously, I promote everybody out there: be real, be true to yourself, stay quiet, plead the fifth, and get your ass home. But in regards to 6ix9ine, just know that his back is against the wall, against all odds, and he still did 50,000. Which, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to let you know, he sold over 100,000 of merch that he gave out his album for free, basically. And I'll forward you guys the link. It's on XXL right now. It's called 6ix9ine Tattle.
I believe you. I believe you.
So go ahead, guys. Talk about the hip hop culture.
I just feel like 6ix9ine doesn't. The guys you name, obviously I get it. Don't talk if you're not doing anything really sales wise, but they don't have the same platform that Tekashi 6ix9ine has. You would think with a song with Nicki Minaj, every song he has, he's claiming it's a number one. He's getting cheated. He's literally if 6ix9ine drops a live right now, he's getting close to 1 million views. So for him to sell 50,000 albums is kind of damn, what happened? You know what I'm saying? So it's just kind of makes you look at it like that. So it does make you think also people do still have in hip hop that principle to them of what they value in the hip hop culture.
So my thing is Big Sean's number went from 125 to 130 to 110 to 115. So it wasn't just 6ix9ine thing. I think that his merch also got discounted. Billboard, yeah.
Sorry. Big Sean's last post, he said, "Hey guys, I didn't add my merch to this." Then he's dropping all this drip, so he had no merch with his album. I'll let you continue.
Even more interesting.
So his album might go up. It actually might go up, but we'll see.
I'm not even gonna count his merch. I'm not gonna count his merch. Also, it also is there's also depending on how you market it. So DJ Khaled did when he lost to Tyler the Creator was he was sell this energy drink for $2 and count that as an album sale, and they said no way, Jose. So a lot of it just is what you're selling it for and this and the third. But here's the reason why I think that those young guys are talking about 6ix9ine, because they're talking about him being a snitch, him being this, him being that, him being a goofball, and then he'll strike back with, but you guys don't sell records. So now the only thing he had to hold on to was those numbers, and he doesn't have those numbers to back him up. And it's people just, you have to understand too is that I don't think that people are attracted to him because of his artistry or his music. You know what I'm saying? I like some of the music on his first album, but that was a lot better than what he's been dropping since he's been home. Those singles like Gooba and all that other stuff, that's just terrible music. So it's And then for the people like me that look at him and be like, yo, like this dude, the only reason why people even paid attention to you at first is because you had all the bloods in the video, all this danger around you, all these goons, and now those guys are all in jail. You're out here spiking the football, and now, you know what I'm saying, the numbers that we're seeing are going to be very paltry, and you're going to have to eat that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you make great points, and I can't dispute that, especially just the feel of it. I just know that he can go into a courtroom of public opinion, because that's what it all is right now, and have some facts and it actually being backed up. Like when he showed the video of only Big Sean has debuted that new album. Spotify didn't put him as New Music Fridays. Like these are legit things that other artists have the benefit of. So his only marketing ploy is trolling, you know, going city to city and, you know, doing disrespectful things to a lot of dead people, which I do not condone whatsoever. But I just know his back's against the wall. And this hip hop culture is really diluted at this point. A great project like what Big Sean put out, and this is why I won my money from Ray, is unfortunately the real hip hop, you know, digesters are not supporting like they used to 4 or 5 years ago. And then we look at Nas, who had another, you said the best album of the year, and he barely cracked 40K. So it's just not adding up of what we think it's supposed to be and what it actually is. So I'll give you guys, you know, your flowers of it didn't do what it's supposed to do, which technically it did, but let you guys have it. But unfortunately, this game is just different. I've been trying to preach this to you guys for the last 3 or 4 years.
But can I ask you a question?
You guys don't want to.
I asked you. Can I say so? You like Big Sean never sold huge numbers. He never, yo, Big Sean never had big first weeks like 200, 300, 400,000. Then like Nas is a legacy act, bro. Like Nas came out in 1994, bro. Like that's when his first album dropped, and he's on an independent label. And Nas is not chasing a single and chasing like all this stuff. Like he's putting out a good body of work, saying like, yo, I'm still here. I can still make good content. But like 6ix9ine, like someone like that is like focused just on numbers. So then, you know, the new the new voice of the streets is Baby, right? So Little Baby and Da Baby are rappers who rap, and they're putting up big numbers, big first weeks, big streaming. So you're always gonna have your clowns like a 6ix9ine or gimmicks or something like that that's gonna sell and get mad attention. But in every era, the guys from that era are always gonna sell records. You know, like I mean, I just think that this is just a correction, and it also shows that a lot of those #1 singles, there was no interest in the music. It was more so just off merch. And my last point is, you say the only means of promotion he has is to go city to city trolling people. That's part of the reason why the DSPs don't want to touch him. If
you're a DSP entity and your job is to maximize your potential or how much you get, when you're going into personal saying they don't want to touch them because of X, Y, and Z, that's wrong. That's not correct. So I understand that the people in there that has interest in why and why not they're doing it, but at the end of the day, you can't say that's right. Just say that you agree with it and their stance on it.
I'm gonna tell you why it's right, because all the DSPs still have R. Kelly on in their services, but they don't put him on playlists and they don't promote his stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like.
Well, all right, to kind of cut you out, and that's a great example. What did R. Kelly threaten to do and actually sent paperwork to sue those?
Yeah, and then he found out that he couldn't, and he didn't sue because he has.
But he found out he couldn't. But then they still, knowing that this could be a possibility, or we can't set these type of standards, they snuck him in back door.
No, but I'm saying that he's not like what 6ix9ine's complaining about is playlisting and getting posted on the front thing. Like, yo, I forget who the artists were, but I remember back in the days when there was a Strawberries and Coconuts and all these other places where they wouldn't sell certain people's music because of XYZ. You know what I'm saying? And you also forget that, you know what I'm saying, 6ix9ine doing all this trolling, going to people's grave sites where they got shot at. He is a convicted sex offender, and he was involved in a RICO kingpin case, bro. Like, it's a lot of factors of why no one wants to touch him.
I just feel like, I feel like the thing with 6ix9ine. So I'm not gonna say 6ix9ine. To be honest with you, the kid's very talented. He's not bad. Like, you know, obviously he's not like a good lyricist, but like I feel like if he never got into that situation, he wouldn't. Like, you know, people are gonna shy away now. Like the song with Nicki Minaj is very good. The Spanish song is very good, and the Locked Up remix is pretty good song, and like his visuals are always on point. And I think he does that better than like the Blue Faces and like that tier of rappers. So he's not like a Little Baby, the Baby, Roddy Rich, but he's like kind of like, you know, underneath them as far as like, you know, being a performer. So I think what kind of hurts him is like all the antics. And I just think a lot of people, and like you said, a lot of like, you know, corporations, it's like, do we want to touch this kid? Like the credibility and like, you know, of your company and of like, you know, the business you handle. Like all the albums that came out on iTunes this weekend, you always see new music. You literally had to type in 6ix9ine in order to find that album. So I think that's kind of like, I think he kind of hurt himself.
And that's, yeah.
It's hard to say. He is very talented. I'll give him that. He's talented.
So why do you think certain rappers chimed out, but not all rap? Like, that's what I'm saying. You have to take in count into the Trippie Reds, the Little TJs, the Blueface, and the Dirks. Obviously, they all had their own personal gripes with them. Why do you think other artists didn't speak out or to these numbers that are coming out right now?
I think
that like
as a marketing thing.
Yeah, he even made a comment about how Drake had a bullet. Like he made a comment that Drake had a bulletproof vest on in Chicago when they were on the Nike campus. You know what I'm saying? Like saying like, oh, Drake didn't have a bulletproof vest on, and he was at the Nike campus. So it's like he's trying to like people know like, yo, like you're trying to attach yourself to bigger artists to make yourself more relevant. And like a Drake, a Kendrick, a Cole, a Baby, a Little Baby, like these dudes are not gonna pay him no attention because it's like, why even roll around in the mud with something that's so toxic?
And I don't even think it's like Dirk, Blueface, Lil TJ, them type of rappers need to bring up 6ix9ine to kind of bring some relevancy to like, you know, their musical careers.
Thank you, Shiz. Thank you for being honest. Thank you for being honest with that.
Drake doesn't care enough. He doesn't need to do that. So Drake will never like engage in that. Lil Baby doesn't need to do that. But I feel like if Lil Baby was in like a Trippie Redd situation, Lil Baby's, and that goes back to your earlier point of like who they want their image to be. Little Baby kind of would engage in that. And I think more so like who he is and what he's done. And like you said, Josh, he's toxic. I think that hurt his sales. Like I think if he never went to jail, he's kind of like pumping stuff out like that, kind of like in that NBA YoungBoy tier as far as like, you know, him being an artist. I just think what he did is just like, it's like, damn, like I want to listen to it, but I don't want nobody to come at me for listening to it. So I won't take that away from him.
And that's what
I also think that it's like every time he does something, there's a little bit less interest. And the next time he does something, there's a little bit less interest. And then the next time he does an
I don't
think that's happened to him. Besides the album,
that logic does not.
Like, they're always like, he's always like top numbers or whatever. He's always like headlines when he does that.
Again, oh my God, it's getting corny. It's getting like these are the kids in academics comments saying, oh my God, here he goes again, boring.
Academics page was dead until Academics not on his way out, but his page, I forgot he even had a page until 6ix9ine got out of jail.
I wouldn't go that far.
Seriously, I was not clicking there. It was no really like it was like, think about when 6ix9ine came out. We had like the Snoop Dogg situation, the Meek Mill situation, like so many different rappers. Like 6ix9ine's page was there, but it was literally, you were focused more on the everyday struggle interviews rather than reading the posts he was putting. Like it came up. So the kid's definitely, I wouldn't say like it's less interesting. He's always interesting. It's just that do you feel comfortable letting other people know that you're involving yourself in this kind of stuff? If he says
last year was even
story, he's gonna get 1 million views.
But look at the tier rapper you just talked about. Like, look at the tier. Like, you went from a Snoop Dogg to Meek Mill to Little Durk to Trippie Redd to Little TJ. Like, it keeps going down and down.
But like, Josh, you
what
gotta
about
be
Nicki
realistic.
Minaj? What about Nicki Minaj? Speak on Nicki Minaj.
I'm talking about the guys he's beefing with, or
but Josh, you gotta be realistic. Like, you can't expect Snoop Dogg to beef with 6ix9ine every day at 50 years.
No, I'm not talking about Snoop Dogg in particular. I'm just saying that the caliber and like fame of the people he's going back and forth with it's in steep decline. Like,
yeah, but I feel like that was always the case. Like, who did he really before? Who was he really like? He didn't beef with, like, he was beefing with Jay Prince before. Like, Jay Prince is like, you know, known like throughout the industry, but he's not like a big, like, he wasn't beefing with really big.
I'm talking about since he got out.
Who does Drake, the baby, like, who do they go back and forth with on the internet really?
No, but I'm just talking about just in terms of 6ix9ine.
I get that, bro, but I'm saying, like, who do you see that he should be beefing with? That's a big.
Nicki Minaj did a song with 6ix9ine for a reason.
That's gonna really like beef with him.
No. But I'm thinking of the bigger picture, and our interview was so telling. She was basically saying, listen, 90% of these rappers are fake. They're not gangsters. If you're a real gangster out there, I'm sorry if I offended you or whatever the case may be. But these guys that you guys look up to and talk about on this level, they got a lot of 6ix9ine in them. That's what she's basically saying. They're characters. They have a stitch, a niche, and they move forward with it.
Well, I'm not even talking about the snitching part. Like, I don't like to me, like, that's like almost irrelevant. I'm talking about the stuff surrounding him. Not like, yo, like the snitching is one thing. I'm not in that life. I don't care. Like, I might joke about it, but like, what do I care if you snitched or not? But from my perspective, is like, it's one thing to snitch because you're fighting for your life or whatever, or your freedom. It's another thing when you go to LA just to purposely disrespect a dead person. When you go to Chicago.
But I feel like I can't get that mad at them no more, because after I heard everything and I like kind of found those people are engaging in it with him. Like Reese is like Lil Reese, like I'm pretty sure like Reese is Reese, but he's doing it purposely for a purpose behind it.
You can't. Nipsey's people is not engaging with him, bro.
You never know that. You never like.
Stop! What are you talking about? His best friend. What's his best friend? That
And your best friend came out with the interview, right?
With the interview and said he spoke on 069. Told him to come back. I'll welcome you with open arms, like sarcastically. Lil Durk saying, I got calls 3 million to go back and forth with him. So stop, acting like
Josh,
trying to minimize the impact
like, I get it,
of what he's doing.
To see that, but like you got to realize that this is he's like that stuff is set up, man. Like it's not like
bro, I don't care. You cannot tell me that the people who are friendly with Nipsey or his family members or Lauren London is happy that this kid is disrespecting Nipsey Hussle at his death site.
That's rap though. That's rap.
I'm talking about. I'm just talking about like we've seen a lot of stuff in hip hop from dudes who actually are dangerous. It's just like, damn, bro, like you gonna take it to a guy was shot? Like his mom has to see that.
Well, listen. I think we gotta. I think we can't rewrite. No. We can't rewrite history with that one. We can't rewrite history with that one.
So when 50 dropped his bar about the dude that shot him, I'm sure his mom wasn't happy that 50 said he got shot dead. Like you can't switch it because it's 6ix9ine now.
Bro, you talking about a dude that shot another person? Like so.
Wait.
That's a way different.
But it's different, John. Like it's no.
Doc,
You can't think that's what you.
if you shoot,
that's what y'all guys taught me. Y'all said like it's a poor example, but y'all said with the Pusha T and Drake thing, you can't choose what to say. If you feel so different about it, do something to stop them. You gotta tell somebody stop him if you don't like what he's saying.
The man is dead, bro. Right?
So somebody do something to stop him. That's how. Morally, he should have it in him to say, "Oh, I won't touch there," but not everybody's a Christian.
But my thing is, Dot and Jiggy. My thing is, he didn't go to the mural, the painting. It wasn't like the actual. He didn't go there to disrespect. He actually went there to pay respects. But people was looking at the irony of this fool
you're too smart. Don't do it.
Why would he like? Come on! I think you read that all wrong.
No. I definitely felt like he went and he did that to Nipsey because of the interview or something in the song Nipsey had before he passed away. Yeah. He did that, but like even a dude in Chicago that died recently, the dude that used to hang with Drake, 600 Breezy, he literally put on the internet, he said, so I'm not supposed to drop my freestyle because he's dead? Like, don't just put the moral thing on 6ix9ine when this.
I don't think that's right either. I don't listen to 600.
Look what happened to GD.
But that's his life. That's what it's not right, but it's just a thing.
Look what happened to Duck in Chicago. Look what happened to
Duck died, and then 600 Breezy is like, so I'm not supposed to drop this freestyle because he died?
Yo, when I saw that, I was like I felt the same way. Like, I'm not like, just because 6ix9ine is wrong, like, it's wrong, bro. Like, I don't. That's a whole different.
It is wrong. It is wrong. But like, the hip hop industry is not about morals,
bro. I'm telling you right now, like, and then it's like, he's doing it and like disrespecting, but at least that dude 600 Breezy will stand his ground.
Oh my God! See what I'm saying? Just moving the goalposts. Everything is just another layer.
I think it's wrong. I think 600 Breezy is dead wrong. I don't agree with it. It's disgusting. I feel the same way about it. Maybe even worse. You know what I'm saying? But it's like you go to someone's gravesite or when you got shot or their mural for 2 minutes to make a video just to disrespect them. Like, to me, that's just like, that's why no one wants to touch you.
I don't think that's the reason. Disrespectful.
That's just like that's just like you can't put morals in a devilish industry. Like, you can't do that.
And that's why it's been going on for years. Like, and I think once again, I understand what you're talking about, but it turns personal because we had Tupac say the craziest thing about Biggie. We had 50 Cent said that he bought a video from French Montana when his mom got slapped. DJ Khaled's mom got slapped in the store. 50 Cent took Rick Ross BM shopping and took his kid into the home. Like, these are extremely.
Chicago niggas die and they laugh. Like, it just.
They laugh. They posted up. Like, it's been going on for years.
But what I'm saying is, I feel like when you go to a death site, I feel like that's just so crazy to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm just too.
No, it is crazy.
It is crazy, but like, you want morals in a devil industry.
All right, but what I'm saying is like, so let's use 6ix9ine and do 600 Breezy. Like, the same people that probably wouldn't really touch. Like, yo, if 600 Breezy was at the level of a 6ix9ine and did that, he would run into a lot of the same issues that 6ix9ine runs into. Where, like,
I don't think that's that. I think if 6ix9ine said that, if 6ix9ine was never labeled a snitch and he made the same comment towards Nipsey, because Nipsey not feeling him, I feel like that's gonna get, just as sick as it sounds, that's gonna get him more exposure and more views. That's what people, unfortunately, that's what people look for. You being a good person, yes, morally, that's the wrong thing to do. Like, that's not okay by any means, but like I said, this is a devil. The music business is devil's work. Like, there's nothing godly about it. So you can't look for morals there.
We're past godly and morals at that. We're not asking for your Kirk Franklin stuff. Like, we way past that. So, speaking of devilish, can we talk about Dr. Dre's wife?
Listen,
you guys
have to hit more to how spousal support works. Mm-hmm. So you're telling me because what I've been noticing is all these millionaire guys that they're millionaires, their wives don't work, And
she's a lawyer.
Oh, she's a lawyer. That's right. But I'm just thinking, like, all these different cases, like Jeff Bezos, Dr. Dre, and then to seek $2 million per month, and it's just not like Dr. Dre was paying her that money during those times. It's just more of her lifestyle living. Like, she was eating at these places that, like, you guys gonna have to break that down for me more because it's crazy.
So I heard the interview this morning on Breakfast Club, and like everybody was kind of going crazy, like, damn, like, why she need that much? Like, but when you think about it, so he's worth $800 million. So what he would have to pay her is, I forget, like a crazy low percentage. It'll be like 24 mil a year. But I guess when you go through a divorce and like everything's settled and like the spousal support, you have to, the judge is looking at, all right, let's say for instance, like you went to the Cabo and like around the country every year and you spent $50,000 on vacation. The judge is looking at, all right, we're going to charge you, or you're going to have to pay whatever it is that's going to have you live as close as that life as you're accustomed to as possible. So it was kind of crazy what See the God was kind of breaking down. Like, she wants $90,000 in entertainment per, like, and due per month, and it's like, what the hell? Like, that's like kind of like, what do you need $90,000 in entertainment? And then she wanted $60,000 towards her kids' education, which fine, I get that, private schooling and all that. But then she wanted like 120 towards like, you know, charities. And it's like, I'm already paying you $2 million a year or whatever I'm gonna pay you. You take from that old money and put it in your own damn charity. Like, why are you making me pay you specifically for charity? So that's why it was like kind of crazy. And then like the lawyer, I think the word that he used, his ex-wife's lawyer, was basically like, she needs this money so she can be financially independent. So that's where it was like kind of like, huh? Like, you need that much to be independent? Like, aren't you a lawyer? Like, kind of, don't you have your own income? So it's tricky.
I found it interesting that like I feel like he might just give her like $100 million to like just go away, like just please, like just leave me be, and like the month, like there's nothing that Dr. Dre can't do with 800 million that he can't do with 700 million. So it's like whatever, just just take this money and go. But it's funny. I remember hearing a story about Eddie Murphy and his divorce. So he divorced, Shannon Sharp's favorite girl, Nicole Murphy, and like this is like in like the 90s or early 2000s. She might have got like 50, 60 million, and she ran through it all.
Yeah, and what they were saying too was like See the God was like, so if you go on Wikipedia or whatever the case is, if you go on Forbes, it says I'm worth $10 million. I don't have $10 million. So it's like kind of like a tricky thing on like, what is Dre really worth? And they were like, yo, Dr. Dre might not even be mad about it. We just, as the people who aren't like, rich, are like, damn, like that much. And they even brought up, like, Jeff Bezos and how like his wife, that was like a $1 billion, like, divorce settlement that she got. And as you see, even with that, he's still worth $200 billion.
Yo, Von Miller just tore his ankle up.
Damn. They wasn't going nowhere.
Yeah, Broncos, that's quiet for them anyway. But yeah, that's what my thing, like, damn, what's the difference between a divorce settlement and then the spousal support? Is this like you get both? Like, what do it's just like too much in that regard. And then obviously it just trickles down where you see a girl asking Future $57,000 per month. You know what I mean? It's like, when does it stop? I gotta keep.
Honestly, man, like the one thing I always default to in these kind of situations is like, listen, like my salary and lifestyle is nothing like these celebrities, whether we're talking about money, housing, cars, relationships, all these side women that they be having. Like, it's just, they're living a whole different lifestyle than we could even like fathom. So trying to put it into like, into our heads is hard to even like think about that. You know what I'm saying? Like paying someone $100 million just to get out of my life. But I have info about that situation that I could tell y'all off this camera. The last thing for the night, Power Book 2. If you have not watched Power Book 2, the premiere episode, please turn this podcast off right now. Thank you for your leadership.
Yo, I love what they're doing, where they're going with this one. It's twofolds for me. First of all, I love how they're focusing everything on Tyreek. They're focusing on, obviously, Tasha, him and his guiltiness of shooting his own father to murder and trying to cover that up. But the second fold is, I love that they're showing a black young man in college, you know, smart, witty, you know, articulate, manipulative at the same time when it comes to his professors and advisors. I love the new gang aspect of Mary J. Blige. I forgot her character's name, but that whole family and how that's going to play a huge role in that being his roommate and, you know, finessing that whole situation. I see they're going to try their best to make Tyreek a sex symbol, a ladies' man type situation. You got two Johns in there that's happy with him. So I think we're going to be seeing some sex scenes from Tyreek soon, and that's going to be a little awkward, clapping some college cheeks. But you got to be prepared for that. But they're doing a great job in regards to this spinoff.
Yeah, no, I agree. I love the show. Like I thought, like, damn, like, I was sad when Ghost died. I was like, it's not gonna be fun no more. It's gonna be like boring. But I like all the new characters and all like the different storylines. So Sax, man, I hope like now Sax is the bad guy now. He like, forget them. So we want to see what happens with Sax. Like Method Man, I'm excited to see him as the lawyer.
Yeah.
And I want to kind of see like that role Mary J. Blige is playing with Tyreek. Like how do they tie in together? And I think that basketball dude, like he's gonna have like he's gonna almost be like the Sean from the first Power. I feel like he's gonna be the Sean in this series. Like he's just gonna be the clueless guy that just is caught up in some shit and then something goes down. But I'm excited for the season. And then Tommy, she blamed it on Tommy. So I'm gonna see. Tommy not even supposed to be in this season. So I'm gonna see what happens with that.
Yeah, man, I ain't gonna lie, yo. I hit the chat earlier. I'm like, yo, Power's book 2 is lit. Like me and y'all in our chat, the last two or three seasons of Power, I was like, yo, I'm just watching it because I started it. I want to finish it. 50 Cent is my guy. I'm supporting him with viewership. And I think that actually it was good that they, you know, that they stopped the original Power and are going to start some spinoffs because it was getting a little stale. And I also thought that Tyreek was the best actor on the show, on the original show. And both throughout the seasons where he finally checked Ghost and said, you know, you might have gave me life, but you was never my father. I said, okay, he's ready for his own thing. And I'm excited for the Mary J. role. I'm excited for her son, the dude from the New Edition, yeah. Well, who was it? Yeah, yo, he was like, yo, he look
like Zeem.
So I'm very interested. And then a little bonus, man, y'all have to watch P Valley.
I got through episode 1 last night. So
what's the concept, real quick?
It's like a strip club in Mississippi, and it just kind of shows like they have this girl. I don't want to give too much away, but it's like this. Like you just see the aspect of like working in a strip club and like trying to get out. Like one girl's mom's like supposed to be like this holy person, but she's really like using the church thing to run her down for the money she's making at the strip club. And like you see, like you know how what was the girl that Drake used to love, the stripper?
Malaya.
So they have a girl that like is kind of like a Malaya, and like Sunday night, like you gotta come see this stripper, and she shuts it down, like gives the best.
I was Black China for a little while in Miami.
Yeah. So like that, she makes the most money, and then they have like a drag queen that owns it. So it's just like a very like. I could see how it's gonna turn out. Like a girl's getting beat by her baby daddy. She brings her baby to work. Like it's very like raw. I'll say that. So I like.
Check it out.
Yeah, like
NBA playoffs just been killing my evenings, man.
You need to check Cobra Kai too, man. If y'all didn't watch,
yeah, that's right. You said that for the boys, yeah.
I'm gonna peep that for sure. But Stars is doing a really good job, man. And then y'all for my sci-fi fans, for my horror fans, Lovecraft Country on HBO. It's a little
Lovecraft Country.
Yeah. It's a little bit of like sci-fi, horror, and like a little bit like Black history in Chicago and Boston. It's really dope. It's only 4 episodes in, but I'm loving it. You know what I'm saying? And so that's a show I recommend. I would say like watch P-Valley because you can get through that quick. Lovecraft, you really gotta sit there and like watch to make sure that you're catching everything because of how the story builds. And you know, Jordan Peele and Jonathan Abrams are the producers of that, so you know the show is crazy.
I already know it's tight.
Yeah, but yo, listen, man, my Lakers is about to win it tonight.
Thanks.
You know what I'm saying?
I gotta watch Russell in peace.
Yo,
Go
listen,
to Houston tonight.
Yo, I got heavy bets if we make this. First of all, I told Doc Houston was dangerous. 2, I got heavy bets. Lakers versus Clippers. I put my money where my mouth is.
We're ready. I can't wait. We'll come back on the pod. We'll talk about it, and then we hear the wagers put up.
Once Clippers is up 3-1 on the Lakers, emergency.
Oh wow!
Emergency pod.
We gonna see. All right, fellas.
All right, man. I'll let y'all.
Take it easy.